going on, everybody? This is episode 2 of the Bad Boys for Life podcast. Can you believe that, Steven? Episode 2.
Can't believe it. We're here.
Like I said before, I didn't think we'd make it past episode 1. You know, so
I didn't think this would get lifted off the ground.
Yeah. So the fact that we're in our sophomore episode, you know what? I think we're up to a good start already.
I think so too.
You know, like if you guys haven't had a chance, our episode 1 is on my YouTube channel, the Ombre and Black. And also, we are in the process of making our pages, so we will have a TikTok page up under that same moniker pretty soon. But for now, it is under our my YouTube page of the Ombre and Black. Our first full episode there, you can hear it and hear all of our goodness there. So, episode 2, we are currently in July. We just finished 4th of July.
Oh, yeah.
As of this recording.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io.
We waited
Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io.
A couple of Twilight movies that
we did, yeah.
I mean, hey, fuck it, I feel like we did something else midnight showing.
We saw the Dark Knight.
We
saw the Dark Knight midnight showing.
And Dark Knight Rises.
And the Dark Knight Rises.
Okay.
I think that was about it.
But other countless, and then we've seen thousands and probably hundreds of movies here.
We poured in so much money into this theater that we're at.
Did you hear that, AMC? That's why your bills are still on right now. Especially me every month not paying my money for your Amelis. Hey, you know what? Say what you will about AMC, as crappy as some of their stuff is, they do have the best loyalty program though around. I'm not gonna lie, because for $23 a month, getting 3 movies a week, in any format, that's a great deal. I'm sorry, but it is.
That does sound like a good deal.
And if you work it right, you can see pretty much every new movie every week, which I do pretty much, yeah. So, it's been money well spent for me. Let's see, okay, but let's bring up that top 10 again for our box office here, real quick, yeah, because we had another weekend, another box office. We actually had a 4th of July weekend holiday box office. Let's check it out here. Okay, so of course, yeah, no surprise here. Number 1. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, opening with $60 million. Although an impressive number by any means for any filmmaker. Hell, I would give anything to be like, hey, you know what, my film opened to $60 million. That's fucking amazing.
That is.
But, sitting on against a budget of well over $300 million, that's not a very good start. So it's going to have, definitely, we'll see if it has any legs.
Let's hope that it can make its budget
something back, or even break even. But we'll get to that in a minute. Number 2, Elemental actually coming for a comeback. I know that this opened up a couple weeks back with The Flash, and it kind of came for a very rough start. Not really making any money, but it came back, and coming back in number 2 with only a fall of 34%. in its third weekend, making another $12 million. Coming in at number 3 is no surprise here. Still in the top 3, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Now this movie, my opinion, is probably holding for probably one of the best films of the year, in my opinion.
No, I agree.
Not only that, but it's probably the best movie of the summer that, as far as making money.
It's gonna make back its budget.
It's well over that, and it's well over a month into its theatrical run, and it's still making money.
Still going strong.
Still in the top 3.
With a fall percent of 36.8.
I mean, in your third week, only falling that much, that's fucking unheard of. Very impressive. Because normally by this type of stage in your theatrical run, you're pretty much almost out of the top 10. But to come back for number 1 a couple weeks back again,
and then
really only fall to number 3. You know, that's
predict it'll be Cross the Spider-Verse at number 1. Number 2 will be Dial of Destiny.
I think so. Yeah.
Followed by.
What else we got in here? Okay.
No Hard Feelings,
no Hard Feelings. Still down. This movie actually doing pretty good for a comedy.
For a little indie comedy.
In this day and age, against all of these temple films and superhero films and Indiana Jones.
Sitting completely at number 4.
No, number 4 still, and that's been out for a couple weeks already too. Only doing a less than 50% drop.
Still going strong.
Bringing in another $7 million. No surprise there. Jennifer Lawrence, she's hilarious. She can do no wrong. I mean,
say what you will about her. There was some critique with her in the beginning of her career because she was the it
everywhere.
Thing, the new girl.
Everywhere.
She was the hot off the press, but she came back.
And this is the kind of movie I feel like a lot of people do in the beginning of their career. These raunchy rom-comedies to kind of establish her name. But for her, she is a Oscar-winning actress already. But I feel that's even better because now she has the power, she has the status, and she can just pretty much just go and do whatever she wants.
She can pick and choose now.
Do whatever she wants.
She can do whatever.
She has the money. She's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do whatever I want. So that's sitting at number 4. Number 5, Transformers and the Rise of the Beast. Still impressively too, only dropping another 37%, bringing in another $7 million as well for its, I think I'm gonna say fourth week in release as well. Holding up the top 5, that's still pretty good, I think. This is another pretty good franchise addition to the franchise, I think. So we'll see how that goes with them. Let's see what's coming in. But another disappointing opening. It's also its first weekend release. Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken. Now, see, I think that title kind of takes away from the interest. Like, this movie was barely, if any, advertised. They put really no money into their advertisement.
Barely saw the trailer for it online.
Yeah, I mean, you really didn't even know it was coming out till the week before, and even that, maybe you're kind of scrolling through your new films. Oh, well, what is it? What is this movie?
They should have just titled it Ruby Gillman.
Yeah.
And just left it at that.
Coming in with a disappointing $5 million debut in its first week, so I really don't see this movie doing it pretty well, and probably not having any legs, especially because, especially during the weekend box office. The weekend box office for a kids movie only bringing in that much money, that's not a good sign at all.
And Elemental's doing better, even though they predicted Elemental being a flop.
Yeah. But it still had a better resurgence than this Ruby Gillman movie, which I'm not gonna lie, it looks like crap. I'm sorry. Maybe if I have a free spot, I might. No, maybe not even then.
Just wait for it to come on streaming.
Yeah, it'll be on there pretty soon. Number 7, a movie still holding pretty strong too, as well, is Little Mermaid. Now, this movie pretty much kind of kicked off the summer season back in May. Being almost a couple months into it, and it's still only dropped another 36%, bringing in another $5 million. But hey, bringing in another $5 million for almost out for 2 months, pretty much coming near to the end of your theatrical run. I think it's pretty damn impressive. And of course, number 8.
A big disappointment for both me and Mike because we're fans of this character. So it was a big disappointment. No
surprise here, but number 8 is The Flash, dropping another 65%.
Which is not good.
In your third week.
And it's already coming to streaming soon this month, too.
Only bringing in another $5 million. Holiday weekend.
which is pretty sad because the movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
The movie is good. It has its moments, but with the whole Ezra Miller drama,
and
kind of put a bad taste in everyone's mouth.
And because of that, it got a bad word of mouth, and word of mouth means everything. So it was fighting in an uphill battle.
Although I still want to know what James Gunn thinks. You know, he said it was the best superhero movie ever.
Yeah, like I don't know.
He was touting it as the best superhero movie.
I don't know if he really thinks so, or he just really just talking out of his ass. I don't know.
So let's see what I'm still waiting for a response.
Yeah. But yeah, this movie it's on the way out. You know, it's just like one of those inevitable L's for Warner Brothers, and they're gonna have to. I think, and they kind of already kind of figured that out what was gonna happen. So they were just kind of having to go through the motions, you know. And the movie has made about $200 million worldwide. So even though it is considered one of the biggest flops in cinematic history and superhero film history, you know, I can see where Warner Brothers still wanted to put this movie out because a lot of people worked hard on it, and two, it did make $200 million, and that's $200 million more than they had if they just let it go. So they're still, $200 million is still nothing to shy away to put in your bank account.
There could be some hope maybe on streaming. Maybe they'll make it back. Maybe they'll make more back with streaming like some movies do.
So it's like I always say, hey, some money is better than no money. So if you want to kind of like look at it that way. Number 8 for its third weekend, number 9, for its 6th week, but third week in international release is Asteroid City, that latest from Wes Anderson. That pulled in another, only a 52% drop, making another $4 million. I think the total for that has been about $20 million, and it's global box office there, and which is for the domestic, and I think about 80 for the global box office, which is one of the biggest, I think, openings for a Wes Anderson movie ever. So he's rating pretty high. You know, this movie has actually tracked pretty well. So, good for him. You know, and it's a beautifully shot film. You know, it's Wes Anderson doing what he does best. I mean,
Wes Anderson.
If anything, the set design in this movie is flawless. Probably some of the best that I've ever seen. Truthfully,
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. And number 10, of course, you know, probably kind of fall out of the top 10 pretty soon, but Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3.
Another movie that opened up the summer.
Yeah, pretty strong, you know.
Pretty strong when it first premiered.
Dropping only another 41%, bringing in another $2 million. I think globally it's been about $800 million, so it's made a pretty good profit for them.
And they promoted the hell out of that movie.
Yeah. Of course, that being James Gunn's last movie at Marvel, and he's now at DC. So that's your top 10 box office for the week. We have, I think hopefully Indy can pick up some legs because this week he doesn't really have any stiff competition he's only going to really go against Insidious, the Red Door, and this another movie that I'm actually looking forward to called Joyride, a really funny comedy that's coming out, but those are kind of minor, you know, but those are not huge movies. So if this is where Indy kind of really has to prove himself, if he's going to have any leg power, because if it doesn't take advantage and make some money against this week, then it's not going to, because next week he's going against one of the big baddies, Mission Impossible Fallout. Dead Reckoning. Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Dead Reckoning Part 1. That's right. So if anything,
straight up video game title. You know,
if anything, Indiana Jones will have to make.
It's money now.
Yeah. Up until Mission Impossible comes out.
Because next week is that movie, and the week right after that, Oppenheimer and Barbie. And those movies are gonna just really wipe it out of it, because Barbie and Oppenheimer are gonna be battling Mission Impossible, and then Indy and them will be a footnote. I'm sorry, but it will be.
No, it will happen because once Mission Impossible comes out, no one's gonna watch Indiana Jones anymore.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be watching Tom Cruise do all those crazy stunts.
Yeah, so.
And then the reviews I've heard about Barbie saying to be really good.
Yeah.
There's that, and of course Chris Nolan. Can't go wrong for Oppenheimer.
You know, this whole marketing thing, it's funny, like never in the world would I think where there would be such a war of movies between Oppenheimer and a Barbie movie. Like, and it's a big thing.
A colorful movie.
Yeah.
And a dark movie. Battling it out.
And it's a legit thing because people are actually like
They're gonna
saying
watch.
that Barbie is a pretty stiff competition. If anything, like
Barbie can be number one and probably take the top.
I think it might take the top for the opening weekend.
So it'll be Barbie and then Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
And then number 3 would be Mission Impossible still.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that I think Barbie might have a really good short game, but I think Oppenheimer is where the long game will definitely play in. So.
But we can still be
Because
surprised at the same time.
Barbie is a big IP. Everybody knows Barbie.
Toys are everywhere.
More of a family-friendly movie and PG-13, and a shorter movie.
Because Oppenheimer coming in at...
Versus Oppenheimer is 3 hours, so you have less showings, and rated R, which kills all that PG-13 audience. So, but I think it will be a better long game because it'll. Where Chris Nolan movies kind of come out better is if they have a really good word of mouth. So people seem like, dude, you have to go watch the movie. It's fucking great.
And I've already heard that people are saying it's a horror movie.
Which is right on my alley. So
At the same time.
This may be the closest I ever see Chris Nolan to directing a horror movie. So
yeah, it will be.
So that I can't wait. I have my A-list, so I think I'm gonna pretty much I gotta plan it out. But I will definitely be checking out both movies. Hopefully that weekend. So just which is gonna come first, I don't know. But hopefully Oppenheimer first. But I know that with it being 3 hours and only in IMAX only.
Ooh, so people have to be buying the IMAX tickets.
It will be harder to
see.
Yeah, because there'll be less showings because it's only in IMAX and it's 3 hours. So yeah,
we'll see.
So, yeah, but I'll put it in there. Yeah.
But as right now, the prediction will be number 1 will be Barbie, number 2 Oppenheimer, 3 Mission Impossible.
Yeah. Much as I love Oppenheimer and Nolan, I really think that the hype for Barbie is real. Never in the world I thought for one they would make a Barbie movie
and make it how it is,
but have this hype for it, you know?
Yeah. Greta Gerwig, she has something on her hands.
Credit to her, she's a great filmmaker. I've been pretty much enjoyed everything. I thought Lady Bird was great.
Lady Bird was phenomenal. That was a really good movie.
Little Women was a great film. As well. Why am I blanking on what else she's directed? I know she's done more things than that, but yeah, I mean, especially those 2 films that I've seen are fucking phenomenal. I mean, I thought they were great.
Lady Bird was really that one was really good. I enjoyed that one.
Not being a fan of the IP of Little Women, I sat there and I enjoyed every minute of it, and it was a long movie, and I thought it was great. Timothée Chalamet was great in it. Saoirse Ronan was great, all of them. I think we're gonna pull up her other films here right now. Let's see.
Internet's going slow.
Yeah. But she's really on her way. Like I think, if this movie does really well, which I think they're counting on, they're already kind of like giving her own ticket to write because, as of this recording, it is released that she has struck a deal with Netflix, and she is going to be adapting 2 new Narnia movies for them.
I heard about that. I heard.
Yeah. So brand new Narnia movies coming for. Oh yeah. Did she direct the? Let's see. Which is really interesting because I think she's coming into the point in her career where she's proven herself.
Coming from an indie, from being an indie director, now going to Netflix.
Yeah, because she's played by the rules, and now she's at the point where she can kind of like do whatever she wants. So she's probably a big fan of that property, and she's like, you know what, I want to direct these movies now. So good for her. Let's see. So those are probably some of the big ones, then, huh? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Barbie is going to be her next big movie. And I'm pretty sure that if that'll profit really well, it's going to really put her in a place where she can kind of just, like I said, write her own ticket and do pretty much anything she wants now.
Yeah, actually, her 2 big movies will be Little Women and Lady Bird.
Lady Bird, okay.
As of right now.
Okay.
And her biggest one is Barbie, so...
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah, good for her. Of course, I know Netflix is kind of having a lot of stuff because they're going to have their Zack Snyder Rebel Moon coming out pretty soon as well.
In December. But talking about Netflix, they've been doing a purge. They're taking off some of their stuff, some of their shows.
But they're very notorious for that.
Yeah, they've always done that.
Yeah.
They'll pull good. There'll be a
Product,
good series, and then they'll pull it after like one season or two, and then just.
I've seen so many
Make
shows
it
where
disappear.
I'm like getting into them, and then they're gone. Like,
And they're not there anymore.
why? I don't know. Yeah. So that's not this weekend, but next weekend of the 21st. So I'm really excited to see how that all plays out. I mean, I really am. So because it can kind of go the other way, you know. Maybe even Oppenheimer number 1 and Barbie number 2.
Yeah, they could be battling it out.
But all I know is that as cinephiles and movie fans, we're the ones who are going to be winning. So we get a bunch of great content to watch. So, well, let's get into the topic of the hour: Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Me and Steven have just come out from watching it. We both have seen it. His first showing, my second showing. So
how about you let people know about your second showing, because you had that small review.
Yeah,
on your first showing.
Again, if you want to follow me on TikTok, that's Ombre and Black at TikTok. I did give you kind of a out of the theater review, kind of my thoughts, just like what I was thinking at the time, how it was sitting with me. It was kind of late at night, so I think I was a little fatigued from work. So, but I did kind of give my honest like review of like what I thought about it. You can go see that. So I did definitely want to see this for a second time to kind of like digest, on what I thought about it. And I am happy to say that like my second viewing of this movie was actually a lot better than the first. I did kind of enjoy it a lot more. I processed it a lot better. I think I was in a better...
You were awake?
Yeah, I was awake. I was in a better mindset. So yeah, no, this movie has gotten a lot of flack on it. Actually, I've seen countless YouTubers and reviews just kind of just tearing it apart.
It's another Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It's how they're tearing that one apart too.
Yeah. But I definitely had my flaws with it, and I had my problems with the movie. But overall, I was very entertained, and I enjoyed it. It's always great to see Indiana Jones in the movie theater.
It is. It's always an adventure.
Despite its flaws, Harrison Ford brought it. He was great in the movie. I thought he had a couple of great emotional scenes that really like showed his chops as an actor.
Yeah. Some good action.
Yeah, great action. I was pretty satisfied with the way it ended too, and it wasn't like it was a
good send off.
Yeah, it was. They really threw the kind of a little bit of that nostalgia bait at you within a cameo. Not only cameo, but the way the cameo played out.
It gave him his happy ending.
Yeah, and the score.
Yeah,
so
that classic Indiana Jones score, but it gave him his happy ending.
Yeah. Which at first you think it's gonna kind of end another way. But then you're like, I don't know about that. But then they're like, nope.
Can't end. I was like, it can't end like that.
Yeah. So. I gave it initially a 7.5 out of 10. I think I can raise it up. I'll give it a good 8 out of 10 right now. Yeah.
That's I'll give that too.
Yeah. Well, for being your first showing, what are your thoughts on the movie?
I enjoyed it. It was good. That opening.
Yeah.
Was good.
Yeah.
The only thing I have is, like you said, his voice.
For the de-aging, right?
For the de-aging,
yeah.
He still had his raspy old man.
It kind of took you out of it, right?
It did a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we see him young, and you expect to hear how he was
back then.
But no, it's his voice. So.
I know.
And the de-aging was pretty good too. It was pretty solid, even though there's some points
where it got kind of wonky.
It got kind of wonky, but
it brought it back. What were your thoughts on Phoebe Waller-Bridge, his goddaughter?
I enjoyed her character. She did a good job.
Well, what about her? Like anything on her character arc in that movie?
Yeah, I liked it. Her arc came. Like at first, you think she's gonna be doing this.
Yeah.
But then she comes back.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spoil it, but.
Yeah, there's a certain place where they kind of like make you kind of like, oh, okay, well now she kind of cares about him,
Yeah.
Now she gives a shit.
It's not about the money anymore.
Yeah. Per se, yeah.
Per se.
Yeah, it was really cool. I thought cool little cameo by Antonio Banderas, which is not a spoiler. It's in the trailer.
That was fun seeing him.
Yeah. Of course, it was always good seeing Sala. Again, not a spoiler. He's in the trailer.
He's in the trailer too, and if you're a fan of Indy, then you recognize his character too.
So, I know, of course, Matt Mikkelsen is a great actor. He fucking kills it every time.
He was a good villain.
Yeah, I mean, so like I already kind of knew out of everything, his part would be solid.
And I'm a fan of him too, so it's
yeah. Now, what's the name of the blonde guy from Logan? Who's kind of his like lackey in the movie? I don't know his name. Let's see if we can look that up. I'm actually a really big fan of that actor. Like, I thought he did great in Logan, and I thought he did really well for what he was doing in this movie as well.
He was also in the Predator.
In the Predator too. That's right. Yeah, that's right. He was on the movie.
He was the main one of the main characters in the.
That's right. Okay.
Was it? Yeah, it was the Predator.
Yeah, the Shane Black movie, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No. This guy's a great actor. I mean, like he's a side character, but I thought like every scene that he was in, he delivered it. And he brought it, So he played a really good like sidekick for
Boyd Holbrook.
Boyd Holbrook. There you go. That's the name. Okay. Yeah, great guy, great actor.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
like,
great actor.
He was good in Logan.
Yeah. He was probably like
he was good in the Predator. That's
yeah,
the only
like
reason,
he's probably the more enjoyable part of that movie.
That's what kept me watching the Predator still was his character because like I have to see where his character goes. But the Predator movie...
overall, I mean, yeah, that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation.
But very meh. Yeah. Especially if you're a Predator fan, it was very meh.
Yeah, it was very meh.
Like, sadly, I'm like, I'll take an Alien versus Predator over that movie any day.
Those two movies were better
any fucking day.
Those two movies, even though they're not Aliens versus Predator, those two movies were better than the Predator.
Yeah. Especially like the first one, man. Like, I gotta say, like the first Alien vs. Predator is a guilty pleasure.
It is.
I mean, like,
it's fun.
Anytime it's on TV or I see it on a streaming, I will watch it.
I will watch it too. Yeah,
I'll fucking put it on.
And I did that recently. I watched both AVP and I watched the sequel. And then
there you go.
They're guilty pleasures. Like say what you will. I know the Clone Marines weren't in there, but those movies were great.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Yeah, so you know what is...
Let's talk about the budget now for Indiana Jones.
Budget, wow. Okay, so this is something I want to talk about. Okay, so the reported budget of Indiana Jones is a whopping $294 million. And that's budget alone. So adding another $100 million for marketing and everything. $394 million.
Close to $400 million.
Holy shit. I'm sorry, but no movie should ever cost that much money. Like, that's fucking, like, that's enough money to feed countries around the world.
I think that's one of the biggest problems.
I mean, yeah, I feel like, especially all the movies that have come out this summer, and even as recently post-pandemic, these budgets are so ballooned, and they're pretty much setting themselves up to fail because $60 million for opening weekend, like I said, any movie, I would kill to have my movie make that much money in a weekend. But when you look at it versus a budget of $400 million, you're failing. There's no way that you know, like, especially the way you're tracking it, there's no way that you can ever make your money back. So this happened with Indiana Jones. Flash had a big $200-some million budget. That didn't do shit, so that was even more of a flop. Black Adam, that had a big
budget and that flopped.
$200 million budget. Didn't make anything. Flopped. Transformers is doing okay, but even then, Transformers had a over $200 million budget. And it made pretty good money, but nowhere near the money that it needed to make to break even.
Yeah.
So I just feel like, I think the studios really need to go back and really cut back and really like evaluate why they're pouring this much money into these franchises. Because all that money doesn't make a movie better, obviously. I mean, for real, I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at Indiana Jones and I'm wondering where they put the money. I mean, for sure, I know that they poured a lot of it into this opening sequence because it was very CG heavy. Very CG heavy, especially the de-aging. Yeah. Even like the last part of the third act, very CG heavy. Very CG heavy. All of the traveling locations. I love Harrison Ford, but I think even that is part of the problem because I heard his fee for this movie alone was reportedly $25 million. So that's almost $30 million out of your budget just to pay Harrison Ford. Like, fuck. That's a lot. Yeah. Like, I understand he's the key guy. He is Indiana Jones, but I mean, come on, guys. I mean, fuck. You know, so,
And speaking of The Flash, it's only been 19 days.
yeah.
In 2 weeks, that's already been in theaters.
And it's already going the way of the...
And it's already going straight to digital.
Yeah, that's crazy. And you know what? I hate to say that. I think Indiana Jones, hopefully not, but I think Indiana Jones, this last movie, might be on his heels for one of the biggest disappointments and flops of the summer season. Which is very sad because that's not the kind of news that you want to be saying about the last Indiana Jones movie. The movie that's supposed to be his send-off, his final farewell. Mm-hmm. And for it to be performing as well as it does, that just...
It's not sounding good right now.
It's kind of sad because it's kind of showing that it's not really relevant anymore. I mean, of course, me and you love it, but we're diehard movie fans. But,
and we loved Indiana Jones since we were kids because that's how we were introduced.
And the same people in that category, the older people too, that part of the audience is not enough to compensate. Mm-hmm. Because the overall movie-going audience and this generation, they don't know it. They're not attached to it like we are. Yeah. So they don't care. So they're not watching these movies. And I had this conversation even about Tom Cruise. I mean, I know that he wants probably to make Mission Impossible forever. But he's even coming kind of to that point where he's relevant, but barely relevant. And another 10 years, I don't think anybody will even care about Mission Impossible.
When you say Tom Cruise, everyone's going to be like, oh, Mission Impossible.
Yeah, but back then.
Well, even now, too, because nobody knows Top Gun. When the sequel of Top Gun came out, nobody knew about the
I mean,
first
that
one.
was a miracle. I mean, it made $1 billion, but, you know, but, like, let's
they got lucky with that.
Yeah, look at Terminator. They keep pumping out Terminators with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's a legend, but he's not a box office draw anymore. The last Terminators have made no money.
And he was just a side character in the last one. He wasn't even in it.
Yeah, like nobody cares about anything new for Terminator. Like they'll go back to the well and watch the old movies, but if you put anything new, like nobody want them because this generation they don't know it. They're not attached to it.
That, and let's be honest too, that the sequels were
very lackluster. Yeah.
The sequels were lackluster, and the writing was lackluster with all those Terminator movies.
Because I feel like they have an expiration date, and
even
I don't know.
Terminator 3 is enjoyable.
I love Terminator 3. Yeah, I do.
I love it too. I'm agreeing with you. Even that's more enjoyable than the sequels that came out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So even when like this, you know, it kind of suffered from the same thing where people are like, I don't know, you know, and I think that like the studio like seriously like thought that, hey, it's a big IP. People are gonna give a shit. They're gonna go out and watch it, but
also I think they waited too long to bring this movie out. They should have made it right after Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and started working on it.
Hit it while the iron's hot.
Exactly, and people, it would have been relevant. It would have made a lot of money. Yeah. But since they waited, well, I shouldn't say waited, but since the pandemic happened, it put a lot of movies on the back burner. The writer's strike that's happening,
even worse, yeah. This just kind of shows you how out of touch Kathleen Kennedy and the execs at Lucasfilm really are. I'm sorry, but they are. So this is not looking good for Kathleen Kennedy. Word on the street is that she's probably on her way out.
On her last legs too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. If they keep her beyond this, I'm gonna be surprised and be like, why?
And with her accolades, she was a good producer for all those movies that she had in the past.
Yeah, great producer, but bad studio head. And being a producer and a studio head are two different things. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they need to bring somebody in new.
Or someone who
knows what they're doing.
I even think Bob Iger's on his last legs too, because I've been hearing stuff that he might be on the way out too.
Yeah.
When they brought him back in, now they're thinking about letting him go too.
I love Bob Iger, but I think that this kind of falls on him too.
And he's more focused on the parts than the movie aspect of it.
Yeah, this is as much his fault as it is hers.
Disney as a whole.
Yeah, as a whole. Yeah.
Disney as a whole, it's not looking good because they have flops too.
I'm not gonna lie though, like another thing that kind of run around, and I understand it's owned by them now, but seeing the Disney moniker in front of the marquee kind of bugged me. And having the Paramount sign for all 4 movies, they showed you the Paramount Mountain, and they all turned into something from the movie. They didn't do that in this movie. So I know it's a very nitpicky thing, but those kind of things, they really, it kind of bugged me. I'm sorry, but it did.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, so, and as good as this movie was, I still feel it still didn't have the full feel, because I feel like, talk as much shit as you want about Crystal Skull or Temple of Doom, but Spielberg
I love Temple of Doom.
No, but a lot of people don't.
I know, I've read, yeah.
So, but Spielberg and Lucas together with Harrison Ford, it was always a magic. And I felt like some of that magic was not there.
I feel like they were trying to recapture the magic.
Yeah, they were trying to, like, recreate it, but, I mean, James Mangold's great. He's probably one of the best filmmakers out right now. But he's not Steven Spielberg, you know?
He's not George Lucas at the same time.
And he's not George Lucas. And, like, I don't know, Spielberg has a way of, like, filming things, too, that, like, I don't know, they have a charm to them, you know? Like, Steven Spielberg knows how to shoot Indiana Jones. I'm sorry, but he does.
And George Lucas knows the story.
Yeah.
Right, he knows how to write the story for Indiana Jones.
Yeah, so, I don't know.
Like, I feel like this with the script, they were trying to recapture the magic.
Yeah.
Of the previous ones. And it felt very, like, when I saw it, I was like, the Nazis again. I'm like, how many times
are we gonna go down that well?
Yeah, like they could have did something new, but I know they were afraid, so that's why they went back to the old formula. That's why a lot of people didn't like Temple of Doom, because it was different.
Or even, like, that's where I credit Crystal Skull, because they were trying something new too. There, they were like, no more Nazis. Let's go with the
Russians.
Yeah, the KGB. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you... Okay, so, like, if you had to rank them all right now, seeing this last one, how would you rank them down there?
Ooh. I'll say number 1 would be Raiders of the Lost Ark. Number 2 for me would be Temple of Doom. Of course, 3 would be The Last Crusade. 4, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and then...
Just the 5 again?
Dial of Destiny as the last one.
I have to put... You know what? I really love The Last Crusade. I really do. I'm going to put that in number 1. Raiders number 2. And I really love Crystal Skull, actually. Like, that's one of my favorite ones. So I'm going to put that in number 3. Controversial number 3. Number 4, Temple of Doom. And number 5, Dial of Destiny. So. Because in my opinion, I like this movie a lot, but I still think I enjoyed Crystal Skull a lot more.
I did, yeah. I'll agree with you on that.
Yeah. So.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, that's a repeat. I've watched it a few times.
And like I said, I'll sit down and I'll watch all 4 of those all day. All fucking day. Especially The Last Crusade, like I said, Raiders, you know.
I know people don't like Temple of Doom, but I love Temple of Doom. We wouldn't have the Disney ride if it wasn't for Temple of Doom.
Exactly.
So I know you guys love the ride, but thank Temple of Doom for bringing us the Indiana Jones ride, because if it wasn't
for that movie, there would be no ride. Wow. 81, the first movie came out. That's fucking that's crazy to think about. That was before like any of us were born, but yeah, I have a lot of nostalgia with Indiana Jones. Growing up and going on the ride and watching them over and over again on videotape. Wow. Wasting
the videotape, making it
you know what was so cool? We're so fucking old that I remember on Channel 5 KTLA, they used to have Super Movie Sunday. Every Sunday they would show these action movies, and I remember countless times they would advertise Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I remember that too.
They would show it on Sunday night. I see the commercial. I'm like, dude, Sunday night at 8 o'clock, I'm fucking there.
Even though the next day would be like a school night, you're like, no, I'm staying up to watch it.
And even though I've seen the movie a million times, I'm like, I'm there. And they would always advertise that scene where he's in the desert, you know, and they're doing the barrel, and he's got the monkey on his shoulder. This Sunday, Raiders of the Lost Ark. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm fucking there, all fucking day. So, but yeah, I mean, bravo to Harrison Ford. I mean, despite everything, I still think Harrison Ford is from that old caliber of actors where they come in and it's a job. They come in and they clock in and they put in the work. So I felt like I feel like he really loves his character and he put his all into it like he always does, you know.
And he loves his character so much.
Yeah.
That he hates Han Solo.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about Harrison. What about Han Solo just really like rubs you the wrong way? Tell me, please.
And look what happened. He got his way and he's like, just kill me.
Yeah. But he wouldn't dare. He wouldn't dare kill Indiana Jones though.
And that's what happens in The Force Awakens. But Indiana Jones is his most loved character.
Yeah, but I really want to know, like, what do you have against Han Solo?
He loves that character so much that if they try to make another movie about Indy without him, it would be a no-go.
Oh yeah. A lot of people were mad because they were saying, oh, you know, they're gonna write to where Helena is gonna be like the new Indiana Jones, and those are false claims, fake news. Nothing in that movie indicated that that's the way, and the way it ended, it didn't end anywhere near.
In a way, her character helped him get back to where he was supposed to be.
And they kind of just sent her character off, and that's the last you see of her. Like, there's no, like, passing of the torch or anything. No, none of that business. So
don't believe the rumors that you hear online.
Never believe all these clickbait articles. Watch the movie for yourself and form an opinion.
Especially that rumor about Chris Pratt taking over as a young Indiana Jones.
No.
That was a rumor, and that never
Ford even said, he goes, nobody is Indiana Jones but me. He goes, that motherfucker will die with me.
And it will.
And it will, obviously, yeah.
But when he dies, you know that they're going to take that character and just reboot him.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to reboot it again. They're going to call it the New Adventures of Indiana Jones like they did in the TV series. Yeah. The TV series that they had, that short-lived... Oh, it was the Adventures of Young Indiana Jones. Yeah. That short-lived TV series.
Which they actually had a cameo from Harrison Ford in that show. As an older Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I remember.
With the full-on beard and everything. I'm not going to lie, like... If this was me writing this movie, though, like, I think, like, right now would have been a really good... Because, okay, Helena had her own kind of version of Short Round in this movie.
Yeah.
I would have made this story with a Short Round because...
At least make a cameo.
Because he's riding the highest of his life. He just wanted a fucking Oscar. So you could have really capitalized on that. And if you really wanted to fall into all the nostalgia, there you go. But, you know...
I feel like that kid was like their short round. Her short round.
But then you could have had the actual short round, because I know for a fact if they had asked him, he would have said yes in a fucking minute. He was waiting. He's like, please. And it would have been fitting because technically Temple of Doom is where it all started, because that's technically the number one in the series. That's
right.
So you could... It started with short round, and then you ended with short round.
I forgot that Temple of Doom was...
Yeah. Technically, it was the second movie in release, but technically number one, because it takes place before Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That's right.
So, I don't know.
Why do people shit on it, though, when they know that's when it's number one?
Yeah. But again, hey, you know what? We're not writing this movie. Oh, well.
Nope.
Yeah. But yeah, to me, like in an ideal world, in the multiverse of our lives...
We'll be writing these movies.
That's what I would have done here. So it was kind of nice. It was kind of nice to see something without a multiverse, because multiverse is cool, but I feel like it's just everything is doing multiverse now. You know what? Really quick, I think that's why Spider-Man is so good, and while it does the multiverse so well, because in that movie there's actual stakes and there's actual consequences.
And they explain the multiverse better, too.
Because I feel in these multiverse movies use that as a crutch to kill people and then just bring them back. There's no stakes. If somebody dies, they're like, fuck, they died. Now what the fuck do we do? Like, no, you don't know they died. Oh, but they're going to probably come back to life. Because then everything that you're doing, it doesn't mean anything. But in this movie, like, when shit happens, there is consequences for everything that happens. Like, literally, like, everything in this movie...
has a consequence to it.
Is a fucking cause and effect. Like,
it's the butterfly. It was the butterfly effect for Spider-Man, because what they showed, every action that Miles did, there was a consequence.
Yeah. So people actually pay for their sins in this movie. I mean, they really do. So yeah. And I think that's the real credit. You know what? Funny enough, I was looking at charts for the biggest, because Across Spider-Verse set the record for the highest money-making Sony animation movie ever. So I was looking at the other movies. Okay, so before it came out, then the number one Sony of all time, fucking Smurfs. Smurfs made $1 billion, bro.
That movie
made $1 billion fucking dollars. And before that, 2, 3, 4, and 5 were fucking all of the Hotel Transylvanias. Those movies made bank. Like, those movies made a lot of fucking money. I'm like, wow.
They made bank.
I knew they were popular, but they made all the Hotel Transylvania movies all made about $800 to $900 million on the box office. Wow. Fuck.
That first movie was enjoyable. I'll admit it.
No.
That first movie.
And that's no gripe because I love those movies. They're fucking great. Smurfs I didn't really see, but Hope the Transylvania.
They're
solid. Solid movies.
Fun.
Oh yeah, especially 1 and 2. Love those movies.
Yeah, those were solid.
But I didn't know that they were that big though.
I didn't know that either.
So,
jeez.
Not anymore because Spider-Man, but yeah.
Yeah, but still,
fuck, dude. I know.
That's a lot. Damn.
That's fucking crazy. Shit. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, week 2. Oh man, let's see. I don't know. Week 2. So it made 60 million and then about 150 worldwide, right? Is that what it's telling me?
For Indiana Jones?
The worldwide box, about 154 million.
Yeah, for worldwide. International did 70. Domestic is 83.
And see, this is where it's scary because worldwide it's only made 154, and this movie costs almost $400 million. So in order to break even or make a profit, you have to be well over like at least $600 to $700 million. And with
and being in 4,600 theaters, you think?
Well, and with Mission Impossible only being a week away, and Oppenheimer and Barbie being only 2 weeks away, I don't think it's gonna happen, guys. I'm sorry, yep. I don't see it happening at all. No.
It'll be making its money. It'll be making its money back when it goes to release.
Yeah.
On digital.
Which again, it's really a shame because I feel like everything the way it's becoming a trend. Like every movie that we talk about, these big budget movies, they're like, oh yeah, they're good, but they're flopping though. Nobody's watching them. Nobody cares.
Because also nobody's gonna spend a lot of money on a movie ticket
if they don't think it looks good.
If they don't think it looks good.
Yeah. Which again, it's that thing of, like I said, it's a very much not so much a superhero fatigue, but a mediocre movie fatigue. People will not pay for your crap anymore. They won't. And Spider-Man is proof. If you make a good movie, they will come.
Yeah.
Build it, they will come.
Yeah.
So.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah. Like Transformers did okay. Spider-Man did great. Flash bombed,
And speaking of the Flash, worldwide, for the Flash, it made 247.
Okay, so it's barely made its budget back. So it did kind of make its budget back, but that's only breaking even. That's not making any profit. So, and with it going out of the theater probably this week and then going into streaming, it's a loss.
Yeah.
It's a loss for sure.
It's a big loss.
Yeah. Wow.
I think.
I just can't even imagine first spending $200 million, but like blowing that much money away too. Better yet, $354 million for Indiana Jones. Holy crap! Wow.
And they blow half that budget on like CGI.
Yeah. That was another thing too. I felt like
CGI is very mediocre right now.
Yeah, it is. It's in it arguably so because they're just pumping these movies out like crazy, and they all rely heavily on CGI. And these CGI workers, they're just very overworked, and they don't care. And I don't blame them for not caring because they're just like, we do all this hard work for your movie, and we did, you talk shit about us, you don't give us any credit.
Even the animators I heard for Across the Spider-Verse got.
Yeah, it's great. As great as that movie, yeah, I know.
But they didn't like the working conditions either. They were on a tight schedule.
And me being dipping my feet into graphic arts myself, it's a lot of work. I mean, it's not easy. So I can't even imagine. I can't imagine rendering in hours and days and doing all the special effects. It's fucking crazy. So, wow.
Yeah. It's time consuming.
Especially Marvel movies. I mean, I can't imagine how many hours they're just like sitting there having to come up with all this shit.
The green screen.
Yeah. Layering. Yeah.
And all that. The lighting, they have to fix the lighting when they're doing it too.
Lighting and rendering. Oh my god. Rendering is like the enemy of any kind of graphics, but So like the rendering time, even with your fastest computer.
Yeah.
Rendering time is always what you're waiting on. You're just like, all right. So.
And it depends how much you have.
Yeah.
How much is in there to render, because it's going to do everything.
Yeah.
And you're going to be waiting there for maybe like a day.
Yeah.
Whole day maybe.
Yeah. Our last episode of the podcast, it was a big file, and editing was a lot faster than actually rendering it. I edited it pretty fast, but the rendering, even to YouTube, about almost 3 hours.
That YouTube upload is really...
It's fucking brutal.
It's brutal. Like you said, you may have the fastest computer in the world, but that upload, that rendering and upload is going to just take hours.
Because it uploads it in a regular SD file, and then it renders it again, the whole thing, for another HD file. Twice. So that's what you're waiting on. I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, it's fucking audio, not even video. What are you doing? You know?
And it's gonna get worse when we start doing these in video. Then you're gonna be waiting even longer.
Because you're gonna see our beautiful mugs in HD, baby, 4K, depending on where you're watching, you know,
or 1080p.
What you have, like, again, you know, depending on where you're watching it, you know.
But be on the look for that too, because we'll be doing video of these podcasts.
As we get more into it, we get more, bigger and putting more money to it, you're gonna definitely see a big increase in our production value. I do have a recommendation as far as podcasts. If you guys haven't checked out the new Katie Sackhoff podcast, blah, 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 fucking great. Episode 2 came out today. She had her first guest, Bryce Dallas Howard. Fucking amazing interview. Oh. Not only do that, and great conversation. They talk about the business, being a woman in the business coming up, how their careers both came up. Great story about M. Night Shyamalan. I like how she got cast in The Village.
For The Village.
And I really love and respect Bryce Dallas Howard as a director now, and she gets into her whole directing process. Like, you really kind of, Katie Sackhoff kind of really picks her brain on like how she directs. It's fucking great.
Those episodes she did of the Mandalorian.
Great, fucking yeah.
Great, I love.
I didn't realize how close her and Bryce are. You know, they're tight. So yeah, again, if you haven't seen it, Katie Sackhoff, blah blah blah, podcast, episode 2 for her with Katie Sackhoff. Bryce Dallas Howard, fucking great. Even the first episode with her and Christian Harloff, who is the who you know from the No Big Thing podcast show. He's her executive producer. So great. And again, check out Harloff as well. He has a podcast on there, a video podcast every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, called the Big Thing. Fucking great, great show. So, you know, not a sponsor, but please be, okay, you know. So
he's sponsoring right now.
All right.
Trying to get those ads. We'll be talking about ads and stuff.
Yeah. So Rockstar for listening, and not a sponsor, but please be one, you know.
And if you can't, wait. And if you can't listen to the podcast, it's also on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
So you can just type in her podcast name. Yeah. And it'll pop up and you can watch the episodes on there.
So you can either find it under the Bad Boys for Life podcast, or it's under my YouTube channel, The Ombre and Black, all one word. So it's all on there for you. And then, you know, of course, this episode is also on there as well. And as our future ones will be. And like I said, be on the lookout for our TikTok of Bad Boys for Life, because that will be up pretty soon. We'll have all of our updates and the links to the show on there, everything. So
behind the scenes stuff, stuff we're going to be talking about,
especially when we start doing video podcasts. Oh yeah,
you'll be seeing all the antics,
all the fun treats on there.
Yep.
So all right, no, I think that's pretty good. We kept it under an hour, like I kind of wanted to. So
nice.
For Mike and Steven, this is the Bad Boys for Life podcast. Where can they find you on your social media again?
My Instagram is the Wandering Poet 87.
Yeah.
And I have bad memory. Too much.
You're on TikTok as well, right?
I'm on TikTok as well too.
Yeah. I think you're on your. We're like super.
We're old.
Professional over here.
We're old.
Give us 1 second.
Yeah, my TikTok handle is at Thunderhorse TV.
There you go. Okay, and for me, it's the Homer Black across the board on TikTok and Instagram and on YouTube, so you can find me there. So for the Big Boys for Life podcast, we'll see you guys later.
Later.